future remains unresolved as Unai Emery faces financial constraints at Aston Villa ahead of the 2025-26 campaign. Villa are facing a heavy fine from UEFA after breaching financial regulations in the Champions League last season, and while PSR is not so much of a concern, Europe is likely to take effect. While 0 first-team players were sold before the 30th of June PSR deadline, the likes of Ollie Watkins, Morgan Rogers, Jacob Ramsey, and Emi Martinez continue to be linked with moves away. Football Insider understands that PSG are ready to sign Martinez for £30 million, with a deal likely to be accepted, especially after the Villans' only signing of the summer so far, Marco Bizot, with financial concerns still hanging over Villa Park like a dark cloud. However, former Villa striker Gabby Agbonlahor believes these three players can help alleviate the pressure ahead of next season. Speaking on TalkSport, 1st of August, Jeff Stelling asked, if the books need to be balanced, who could you see being sold? Agbonlahor replied, looking at the squad, I think they'll look to sell Alex Moreno, but I'm not sure how much you'd get for him. He was at Nottingham Forest on loan last season and didn't play much. Buendia went on loan to Bayer Leverkusen, but it didn't really work out. It would have been nice to get £25m, £30m for him, but you might only get £15 million. Leon Bailey, he's the one who's being talked about. He was not at the level Aston Villa needed last season, despite signing a contract last year, especially having sold Moussa Diaby. There was talk about Saudi Arabia right when the season finished, talk of 40 meters minus £45 million, but it hasn't materialized. I'm sure the manager is hoping that can come back. Unai Emery to sanction further changes at Villa Park. Mick Brown told Football Insider that Watkins has opened the door to joining Newcastle United this summer, with the Magpies facing an uncertain future over Alexander Isak. Aston Villa are reluctant to accept offers for Rogers, Mick Brown told Football Insider, with Chelsea seriously interested in the former Man City forward's signature. Missing out on Champions League football by such a narrow margin was always going to take effect this summer, but with no major outgoings so far, supporters are clinging onto a thread of hope. Sending Bailey off to Saudi Arabia would certainly help the club financially, and with 2 goals and 4 assists in 38 games across all competitions, he would not be a misfigure at Villa Park. It would save the Villans from having to sell their more important players, such as Watkins, Rogers, Ezri Konsa, and Amadou Onana, and keep the building blocks of Emery's project intact. Of course, it is not just as simple as getting rid of one player for a substantial fee, with multiple members of the squad also not being good enough, and there are only a few weeks remaining of the window.